Hey, everybody, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, October 13th. We are live for Wake Up Legendary. This is not a recording. We are actually live. And good to see you guys as you're coming in. Let us know, where are you tuning in from? We've got people who watch and attend from all over the world, typically a couple hundred live and a couple thousand after the fact. So if you're tuning in live with us, let us know where you're tuning in from. Every Monday through Friday, we bring on a new guest. They share a bit about their marketing strategy, what they've been doing, how they've been generating traffic, getting eyeballs on their website. We're all kind of fighting for attention online, and the people we bring on are doing really well with that. So what we do typically is we invite guests who are some of them are affiliates of ours, some of them are just clients of ours, people who have been through our training and had success in other industries. And we bring them on and we kind of show off their success and highlight what they've been doing and what's working. So it turns into a little bit of a what's working now style, little 30 minutes. And that's kind of what we do. So we've got another awesome guest on. Let's not waste any time. If you guys can give us some clap emojis in the chat. Sarah, what's up?
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. I'm actually great. It's a good morning so far. Nothing's crazy. I haven't got too far into the day. I was just telling Sarah that I'm on the West Coast. Yeah, tell us a little bit about you and your journey. And I usually like to have people sort of set up, are you working a full-time job? How did you discover sort of the online world? What's life and work balance like those kind of things, how are you getting this whole thing started and finding balance with other parts of your life?
Yeah, okay. So actually 2 months ago today, on the day I bought the Legendary Marketing Program and did the blueprints and dove right in. I didn't waste any time and just started uh, diving in. And I do still work full time, but my goal is to be quitting that full time job by the end of December, which is my birthday. So that's my personal goal that I have. And I'm rocking and rolling so far on my way to that goal. So I couldn't be more excited.
Dang, that's fast. You
Yeah,
are like getting after it.
I am. Yeah. And
Cool.
your helps and tips through the every Thursday, that has helped me a lot too when I was always stuck. So highly recommend for somebody getting on doing that for sure.
Cool. That's awesome. It's good to hear too. So you've got a full-time job, and you're working that. What was like everybody has this first moment. Well, I feel like we have two moments. We have like I want more or I'm looking for more kind of thing. And then also like a discovery of like, wow, I could make money online instead of going to a job. Interesting. What was like the first one? What was the initial like, hey, I want more, and you started looking, or did it just pop in front of you on TikTok, or what happened?
So I have been working from home since COVID happened, and I had just started with my company, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're not going in the office anymore." So I have had the opportunity to be at home for a while now, which is how I've been able to do this and run a business.
Right.
So we had to go back into the office in July, 2 times a week this past July, and that lasted for a month, thank God. But when we got back into the office, I felt like I was in prison. I was in a cubicle, couldn't talk to anybody, couldn't see anything or do anything. And I'm like, what am I doing with my spare time? What am I doing with my free time? And
Yep.
so, how I discovered you guys was my sister is on TikTok, just posting funny videos with her and her friends. And I forgot to, log out of the app. And so I went back on a few days later and saw somebody doing the same thing that I'm doing, and she was an older woman around my parents' age. And I'm like, if this woman can do this, I can do this. So I just started, with the 7-day challenge or the 15-day challenge that cost $7, and I'm like, this is worth it. I got to day 6, and that's when the blueprints arrived, and I just stopped doing the 15-day challenge and dove right into, okay, let's start this. And so I created an actual like LLC business at the end, like 2 weeks after that, and I've just been going at it, doing the best I can to be successful and hit my goals.
Nice. That's awesome. Geez, so you are, I can already tell, like just energy wise, like you are like just screaming, like just fired up, ready to rock. And you're doing well too. I mean, you're making money. You've turned it already into a profitable business, or close. I don't know other costs outside of just our blueprints and stuff, but you're well on your way, I think, for sure. And I feel like you sort of watched sort of the model of like, okay, hey, look, somehow there's a person out there online who's, doing pretty well for themselves. Maybe they got a full-time job, maybe not, a full-time income, maybe not. And I think I could probably do that. I could think I could probably pull that off. So in terms of like, balancing full-time job with that, I feel like the whole work from home thing is such an opportunity for people, mostly because like I haven't really worked like an in-person full-time job in quite a few years, but I remember many times like when I would try to work on like my side hustle stuff that I was doing, and I always was because it's just who I am. Um, but I think like having the flexibility of being able to work from home, people can't micromanage you the way that maybe they would before, or just even really like, I always felt like there was a chance for me to get all of the work that I needed to get done for that day in 5 hours or 6 hours or something, or spread it out during times that I want. But then you look lazy, even if you're just more efficient. I feel like the work from home thing, this whole last year and a half, I've just seen people come on this show and just be like, yeah, I work from home and there's more spare time because I can get my stuff done faster and then I can move on to the next thing. The next thing is my side hustle. And so that's cool. I like that. And yeah, what an interesting man. Such an interesting some people go looking for it. They type into Google, how do I make money online? And then other people just are scrolling TikTok. The latest one that I've seen is about doing Airbnbs. And, it's another side hustle, make money, buying Airbnb properties. When you first got the blueprints, you dive in, you're starting out. First of all, when you start creating content, was that tough? Did you find it easy? Was it difficult? How has that been?
So at first it was definitely difficult for me. I was one that never posted on social media, not even like personal stuff. I was on TikTok and had no videos. So I actually had my 5-year-old stepson tell me how to figure out how to put the music into. So for like 3 weeks, I was just
Wow.
trying to put on like a demo almost to see if I could get followers. And so once I figured that out, I just started, making videos all the time. So I would post 3 videos a day. And then once I got onto the legendary Thursday wake blueprints and asked, how do I get more followers? And it was just like make 1 to 2 good content videos and post them, once or twice a day, depending. And so then when I started looking at the models of other people who were successful already doing this, I was just, copying their videos exactly and making them, my own. So that has been such a huge help in creating my following and getting more success and sales into my business.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. And you've got like, I feel like you've got well, 34,000 followers is definitely nothing to sneeze at. That's for sure. And you haven't actually had that. The funny part about that is you haven't made like all that many videos, right? Like
Mm-mm.
it's not that much content. So I feel like what you've done has really worked. And I also feel a bit like there's and what for everybody who's here, I think that there's a really important thing. Copywriting is applicable to copywriting is a skill of learning how to write captivating headlines or attention grabbing headlines, and compelling sales copy. And that's really what a TikTok video is. Most people don't realize that. And so when you go on into TikTok world and you see certain pieces of content performing really well, or uh, certain 3-second introductions to the videos, we call those an attention grabbing headline or a hook. When you see those work for other people, those are similar, and you can use very similar headlines yourself. And I tell people, don't reinvent the wheel. It's not that hard. There's lots of industries and lots of niches you could tap into, where you can use those same headlines. The same goes for stitch style videos. But especially with the attention grabbing headline, I think that's what you've done really well. And it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Now, I'll give that with a little caveat. I do think that sometimes if people go overload on those, it can weigh down the channel too, right? It can actually put a stress and strain on the channel. So I feel like you've also mixed in just some good original content too, which I think is a big part of your success. And you're going live, right? So I think if just the whole channel is flooded with side hustle videos or online work videos or stuff like that, eventually down the road, it starts to see a little bit of it kind of slows down to a screeching halt. Which even then still, you still have 80,000 followers you didn't have before, right? So it's not all bad, but going live, which kudos to you, that's a big one. I just saw, not to get sidetracked, but I just saw Calvin Hill was live yesterday. That dude goes live for like 3 hours at a time and just spitballs all kinds of stocks and crypto, and then goes into digital marketing and talks about how to take advantage of the market by getting digital marketing skills. I think that live thing you're doing is really smart. So you went live yesterday. How did that go?
Good. So that was my second live I ever did. And
Wow.
that was because of you. I'm like, how do I get more sales? I'm getting all these subscribers and followers, but I'm not, fulfilling the sale. And you're like, do the live. So I'm like, okay, here I go. Terrified. But if we're not out of our comfort zone, we're not growing, right? So I went on live, thinking I was going to do 30 minutes. That was like, okay, Sarah, I can do this for 30 minutes. And then an hour went by and I'm like, holy crap, I need to get back to like my actual job. I need to log off. So I'm like, I was just so grateful. And I did. I mean, I ended up getting a lot of followers after that. Sales were flowing in. So it really does work. As long as you're taking the time to put in, you will see results.
Yeah. And on that webinar strategy, I was just looking for my little drawing pen, but I don't have it. So we do not get to see Matt's artistry today. On that webinar style, I sometimes tell people, back in the day when I started in 2009, 10, we had to pay $100 a month for something like GoToWebinar, super old, clunky webinar software. It was glitchy and it was a disaster. And to do all of that and set it all up was a huge cost, like production costs. You had to email out to your list to make anybody aware that it was even going on. And usually, like, if you're starting out, you're brand new, like that email list is like nobody. And you might be lucky to get a person or two to scroll, like to actually click in, log in on their desktop, because no one had phones. So, I think in the grand scheme, there's just such a massive opportunity. And I've been screaming about this, and I think people are almost getting annoyed, but I've been screaming about how this TikTok thing is the greatest opportunity in digital marketing history. Still is, and has been for the last 2 years. But the webinar strategy, that going live strategy, when you combine that with sort of the viral traffic trends and you get some real viral moments going, The downside or the kickback to that is that people are like, well, you're not really giving super high quality value to those people. I think one thing that you're doing, I think one thing that you're doing that's right is that you're sparking curiosity with those style videos. You're opening people's minds and they're saying, oh my gosh, like there's ways to make money online. That's interesting. I'm going to follow Sarah and figure out more. Right. So you can use easy style videos like that that are proven to go viral to build your following. Right. And then the question I always get is, well, why am I building this following, making videos that have nothing to do with what I'm offering? Because those people are following you not just because they want to do exactly what's inside of that video or that they're ever going to do it. Probably never will. They might go try it out, or they start asking questions in your comments. You ever notice that?
Yes.
Yes. They start asking questions about specifics in the comments, right? That's the whole point is, even if they never buy from you, even you're opening people's minds, you're stretching and expanding, you're breaking neural pathways in their mind. They're starting to say, wow, this is interesting. And then after they start that, then, oh my gosh, hey, Sarah's live. Right. And during the live, this is kind of the trick. During the live is really your place to be able to educate people and teach people and unpack questions, things like that. But if you could really run, and the more you do those lives, like Calvin and Sarah used to do them, I think every day, and a lot of different people do these lives, you start to really drive sales. And that's the place for conversions. The big mistake I see people do is when they try to sell on their feed, right? Like when they post videos, and then their followers start to just like, oh, it's Sarah, she's just going to sell me today. Or it's Calvin, he's just going to sell me today. Or it's Brian. Okay, here's another video selling me a stupid little thing, right? But in the lives, it's more intimate. People don't actually really care. It's like, okay, yeah, no problem. So I feel like that's a smart, I suggested it to you, so I'm not trying to compliment myself, but you taking action on that is a big one, because if you're starting to see sales coming in after your second live, or your second day of having done a live, it's a real way to build and cultivate that audience, which is really important for the algorithm, and protecting sort of your ability to get more followers and get views with the algorithm is important. So even if it weren't driving sales, that's super crucial to keep sort of a healthy status in TikTok's algorithm. I don't know. Is this making sense?
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't have done a live if I didn't think that it was going to work. I was at a standstill and I'm like, what am I going to do with all these subscribers and followers? Some are, will click the link right then and there and sign up for that 7-day or the 15-day challenge. But it's, how do we get them to realize that there's more to that to learn? And it doesn't just have to be with the making online money niche. It could be anything of something that they're already doing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that that's a big one, but yeah, I think, having that discovery is a really big one too. It'll shape and change how you make content a little bit when you discover that. Make you a little bit less, or make anybody less, no, I'm not saying you, but make anybody less dependent on a certain style of video. Oh, because one person who's a good example of that is Tyler Wise. He started making videos around like Google Chrome tools that are really helpful. And what he found is there's sort of like little one-off things that are a little less like just intense around making money, and are like still getting the views. People still view those virally, sort of like those side hustle videos. And so he's mixed in some of those, which are then like, wow, this guy is like a little more diverse than maybe I expected. And he's also, it's a way for him to bring in new people from different parts of TikTok world, as opposed to just in this industry. And again, your benefit there, sometimes there's an argument for just using hashtags to attract people who are just interested in affiliate marketing. There's also an argument against that, right? There's also an argument against having people who are always hearing about affiliate marketing, being pitched on it all the time on TikTok, and seeing these videos nonstop. there's an argument of going out and actually grabbing people from totally random different niches who aren't really interested in that, sort of like you weren't really interested in that, beforehand, and pulling those people in and drawing interest, and keeping your channel healthy that way, driving more leads and sales that way too. So anyway, for all of those reasons, I just think it's an interesting, it's an interesting discovery. When you're out there and you're creating content and you do about 1 to 2 posts a day?
So I was on like a retreat for 4 days. So I have been lately posting twice per day just to get my following and like drive back up. But usually it has been, once per day, probably for about 3 weeks now, because it was a steady flow of followers and subscribers and sales. I mean, I've only been doing this, like I said, I probably posted my first video the end of September. So all of these followings are like less than, 2 months, which is awesome. So I'm already like halfway. It's only the 13th, right? So I'm already halfway of where I was in September. So I'm very, thankful and excited to, be a part of this for sure.
Jeez.
I would have so been angry at myself if I would have stopped and quit, because in the beginning, when you don't know what you're doing, it is hard, but you have to, shut that voice down in your head that's telling you that you can't do it and this is hard and you're never going to make it. If I would have listened to that, I would not be here right now speaking my own story to you. So, yeah.
True. I love that. What's here, let me put this TikTok up on the banner. Make sure, guys, to go follow Sarah. There's 2 underscores after the name. If you search that on TikTok, you'll find it right away. In terms of your daily like sort of mode of operation, I'm curious I see different styles of people, but I'm curious about sort of your style. Are you more like structured and have a set time of day when you're producing content? Or are you a little bit more like kind of find the time in between? Because you have kids, right?
So yeah, my fiance has a son, and I'm the one that takes care of him, make sure he gets on and off the bus, all that stuff. So
Cool.
once he gets to school on Mondays is usually the day if I'm feeling it. If I'm not, I have 4 other days in the week to make content, and I'm always doing it while I'm working. So on top of getting paid to work and do all this, and then I'm just getting extra pay on top of it, it's just great. So I always find the time while I'm working to do it. And then I really tried making my content 1 day per week. And then I'll have like 7 to 10 videos in my drafts. And then I just start, okay, this day I'm going to post this. And I just set an alarm on my phone. And I literally never go on my phone unless it's for a purpose, because you can just sit there and be scrolling, and get consumed when I'm the one trying to be, not the consumer anymore. I'm the one trying to sell people. I'm the one that's, being persistent and taking action for a purpose. Yeah.
You sound a lot like Dave Sharpe there.
Thank you. That is such a nice compliment.
Yeah, it sounds like something he would say almost exactly. He talks about we talk about in Decade in the Day, and then also in the blueprints, just about like if I could say what you said in a different way, it's like you don't want to be captive to somebody else's agenda. So you don't want to wake up and look in your inbox and read what everybody's agenda is for you for that day, or read and hear about what everybody is going to sell you and what you need to buy this day, today. It should be the opposite. You should hop on, and the only times you hop on, especially social media, is when you're specifically on purpose. You're looking for something. Maybe you're strategizing a next video or whatever it is, but you have to make that shift. I'm really happy to hear you made that shift, because that's a big mindset shift that makes people way more productive, way more productive, and changes the results and outcomes a lot, I think. So that's cool. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been definitely a change for the better. And it all starts with your mind, your headspace. If you're not there mentally, you're not going to force yourself to do and step out of your comfort zone. You're always going to be comfortable where you're at, and you're not growing then.
Totally. Dang, this is cool. What are you also on like IG and doing stuff like that, or is most of your stuff coming from TikTok?
So I am on Instagram as well. So what I did probably like 2 weeks after I started dating, I think I hit 10,000 followers, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do to continue this success and like drive
Right.
other people in other ways? So that's when I started posting my content to TikTok, or I'm sorry, to Instagram, and all I do is take my old TikTok videos and post them to the Instagram Reels. So now, and I did post like because I had to make the shift between a personal account and then make it to, a business account almost for my
Right.
personal Instagram. So I made my first post that's personal today just because a lot of the followers that I still have are, just friends and family want to see what I'm doing. But most of the content that I post now is only, for my business. And that has helped me gain followers that way and sales. Having
Oh,
two platforms that I'm working on, and I'm always a step ahead in Instagram because it's old content that I've already done on my TikTok.
super cool. I love it. I love it. And I love your content. I love the channel. I think you're doing a great job. I think, keep going with those lives. I think that's a big thing. Those are going to be super impactful, super helpful. They help position you so much. So just pumped to see that you're taking action on that. And I think everybody here can absolutely, if you're going to take away a lesson here, you're going to take away something big or something um, impactful. I am just impressed by your level of implementation and speed, right? So there's people who hang out for a while. There's people who hang out for 6 months, 12 months, a year. Nothing wrong with that. But there is something to be said, right? We don't guarantee it income outcomes in our training or anything, but there is something to be said about like just being like, hey, you know what? Screw it. I'm going for it. And I think people would be surprised at how fast they could see results online in any niche and in any industry with just a bit of real intention. And also like you've been really following and been very thoughtful about, it already in this show. You've given like three different examples of things that I've just randomly dropped on like our blueprints webinars that you're like, all right, let's do it. And rather than being like, oh, that's a good idea, you're like, yeah, I'm doing that next week, and
Yeah,
like,
I literally would log off the blueprint, do that immediately, and if I wasn't gonna do it, then when am I ever gonna do it? You got to take those steps.
mm, true,
It's
true,
action. Don't think it, just do it.
true. Yeah, I mean, there's something freed up in your headspace that a lot of us wish we had freed up in our headspace because everyone out there is like, yeah, but you don't get it, Sarah. I got all these mental blocks and all this stuff. And
Uh,
yeah,
if I could tell them all to just read the books that you guys recommended, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I found Think and Grow Rich. I mean, I wasn't a book reader, and I one of my goals this year was to make sure that I was, continuing, education, knowledge is power. So I probably read a good 20 books, and those are all about business, all about changing your mindset. And I feel like if I wouldn't have done that along this journey, because that was like a kind of like a mentor for me, those books. It's like, okay, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm only
yep,
25, and people are wishing that they would have been doing what I'm doing now 15 years ago.
yep.
Anybody can do this. You just have to put in the effort and change your mindset to realize that you're the only person stopping you from doing it.
I couldn't agree anymore. I feel like people doubt themselves so much, and it's so unnecessary. The once you get an inside look, the biggest thing is I did is in 2011 I went to a live event. It changed my life forever. I went to a live event and I realized once I shook hands with some of these people, some of the people I looked up to, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Not to like be mean to them, but I was like, "This is it." Like, really? Like one of them, for instance, was a dude whose whole brand was around they called him the van man. And he he was like, basically, his whole thing was going from a homeless van man to like an online, 6-figure earner or whatever. And when I met him in person, I was a little bit like, oh no, you're just a homeless dude. Like, you're legit just a homeless dude who's found a way to drive traffic on the internet. That's it. That's all that's going on here. I was like, I can't, what the hell? Right. And that was kind of the moment where I met all of these people and I just realized, like, hey, you know what? I feel like I've got all these insecurities. They've got them too. I feel like I've got all these weaknesses. They've got them too. And it's not better or worse. It's just different. We've all kind of got the different, mindset stuff that we're all working through. But it is very true. Like, there's not any sort of better DNA that I've got than you, or that you've got than Jesse or Becky or Ed or whoever's in the chat here, Kevin, all these people. There isn't some magic potion or formula. You're just working your ass off.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, I think we can leave people with that. I think your urge to get people into books like, what did you say? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what else?
Yeah. Think and Grow Rich, and then The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
Ooh.
Highly recommend those books.
Yeah, I don't know if we recommend the 10X rule, but in principle, that rule in general is a big mindset shift. I mean, that's a huge one. And that mindset it's incredible. It's incredible when it's deployed. So cool. I love it. I love the book recommendations. Sarah, we're going to get the heck out of here. If you need anything from us, let us know. We'll put you on the list to invite you back in a couple months, see where things are at. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Matt.
Cool. See ya. Guys, give her a follow on TikTok. You can find her right there, Sarah Simmons __. Go follow her, watch her lives, tune into her lives, give her a little support on her TikTok lives, answer questions, ask her questions on her live, feed her some questions that she can answer and engage with, and support her, support others in their journey. And that sort of business karma oftentimes comes back around, and in a lot of meaningful ways. So to everybody who's out there, keep rocking. Have a good Wednesday. We'll be back here tomorrow. Dave will be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern. And the last name of that book was The 10X Rule. 10X Rule. See ya.